Okay, welcome back, everyone. So, happy birthday to all our Leos. Um, the sun moved into its sign uh, of power and vitality on this day, June 22nd, and it takes us all the way to August 25th, and then we move into the sign of Virgo. So, welcome back, everyone. This is where I discuss the next part of our series of signs and planets and houses in relation to the tarot. So, we are in Leo. Leo is a fixed sign, Leo is a fire sign. And so, this will be a brief overview talking about the characteristics, the personality traits, um, the house that rules um, the sign of Leo and the sun of uh, the star of influence, which is the sun. Um, Leo is in the fifth house. The fifth house is of, I think the best way I could describe the fifth house when I really look at it, or house five, is creativity, um, child playfulness, um, confidence, but also most important with the sign of Leo, we're looking at expression, self-expression. They will display, they being Leos, naturally have a way of having a magnetic personality. There's just something about Leos in particular that um, there's a there's a sense of energy aura that just attracts people to them, either what they say, how they look, how they present themselves. Um, we have our other fire signs, Aries and Sagittarius. Okay, so Aries is the cardinal sign. It gets things moving, it gets things started. Um, and it's all about getting things moving, but it has to be done their way. All the fire signs have a sense of ego, but the place of where the ego comes from in Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius is different because of the cardinal aspect and the fixed sign of Leo and the mutable sign of Sagittarius. So we have different approaches of these fiery energies in these signs. But with Leo being fixed, you have to take it like it is. Um, and there is that sense of loyalty too, because when Leos put a lot of themselves, all the work that they do, they want people to, acknowledge it. It doesn't have to be in a great way. For some Leos, it has to be, they need the accolades, but just some sort of recognition, some sort of like, hey, that's amazing what you did. And that can satisfy a Leo. Now, we have too much of that fiery energy, we can get the overconfidence of Leo. A lot of reinforcement, a lot of positive can kind of build up that heart. That's the area that Leo rules. The heart can grow big in a way that it can go out and give back to people, or the heart can grow big in a way that becomes more ego-like, and it becomes more selfish. The heart is all about them, not so much about everyone else. But here with the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck, as I mentioned, we have the heart, the burning heart, the center of what where all this energy comes from for Leo. Influenced through the sun. The sun is the life force for Leo. It is that driving energy that excites them. Once they find something, they just throw themselves into it. And here we have another representation um, with the roses around the heart, and a little bit of the flaming heart, the burning corazon, burning heart, the desire, that excitement. And so when a Leo is placed in an environment that just feels right for them and they feel that they can work it, they will, and you will see them shine, whether it's in a workplace situation or in a relationship, or anything that they're working on. One thing I did mention it earlier, because Leo is part of the house, the fifth house. Leos, because of their excitability, they can come across almost like a little child. Their approach, they get so excited and they're very playful. This also applies for the rising signs and the moon sign. The moon sign takes the emotional aspect of Leo, and it comes out towards how they interact in certain situations with kids. Leos can have a good reputation for being good parents, because they kind of, in a sense, they kind of relate to kids when they were a kid, and being around kids just kind of reminds them of how their upbringing was. Their upbringing was, in a more loving situation. Obviously, that gets transferred over. If it's a challenging situation, Leo learns from their past environment and what to do and what not to do, and to bring more of that heart, more of that strength, that fortitude that Leo is always known for. So here, I love the representation of this. We have the bird, we have a singing bird, we have self-expression. And in a sense, I almost feel like Leo really doesn't feel too much about what other people have to say. They express themselves because they have confidence in themselves. And so it doesn't really matter so much what other people say. Now, here's the thing. Here's a little twist with Leo is if criticism comes to them, especially something that they have a firm belief in, and they put a lot of work and effort into it and stuff, and this is the result, but someone doesn't like it, depending on how the critique comes in, that can actually burn the heart of Leo. Could burn it in an aggravated way, or burn in a way that it hurts, depending on the sensitivity level and those other signs and planets in that particular Leo's chart. The opposite of that fiery energy could actually be emotionally overwhelming if someone comes in and negates what they've done, what they've worked on, and that can weaken the heart, and that could put Leo in a vulnerable situation, and their strength and their courage can get challenged. So it's very strong. What's very important to remember with Leos is when something like that happens, you need to heal. You need to work through those words, actions that were probably challenged against you. How do you handle that? Don't fall into self-pity, but fall into a sense like, okay, yeah, that person, that's their perspective, but I firmly believe in me, and I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, because in doing so, people will see that. It's very similar to Aries. That fiery energy becomes influential to people. They watch you move, they see how you create, and what comes from it, how you utilize it. So that becomes inspiration for other people. So it's very important for that Leo energy to come back, pull up those bootstraps, and get back on, on the path. Forget what's happened, and just and to move forward. But come from a place where you actually take care of that issue. Don't kind of poo-poo it. Sometimes you can do that, and then it comes back to you, and you start thinking, wow, I really didn't take care of that the first time around. And it festers, it grows more. So anyhow, my point in all this for Leo is take care of a situation right there and then before it grows and it forms into something that may be a little bit too much for you to handle. Always take things as it happens right there. Work with it, deal with it, let go, and move forward. Now, the tarot card that is associated with Leo is its own archetype in the major arcana, is the sun. So this is very strong energy. We have the influence of the sun, which is the life force, and a motivator for Leo. You think of the sun. We have the sun and the moon. We have those opposing energies. The sun is external energy, conscious things that are revealing. externally, well, the moon is what's going on inside. We just came from Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Now we're Leo, the sun. So everything that's been worked on during the time of Cancer slowly starts revealing itself. And sometimes for Cancer, that could take some time because they like to be protective and they want to make sure where they are, they're going to be safe in what they have to express to themselves, but more on the emotional side. The expression from Leo comes fully. It comes from inside out, and the environment that they're in. It's very important for Leo to have that place. So I'm going to show you 3 cards here, and also the other major arcana card with outside the sun associated with the sign of Leo is the Strength card. So I'm going to show you those 3 cards. But before I move into the tarot, I pointed out that with Leo, the physical body part that rules Leo is the heart. It can also rule the back a little bit, not too much, but the heart is the premise. There are different ways that you could break down astrologically the correlation to the body parts to the sign. So for instance, with Cancer, we were looking at the stomach, the chest area. And then with Leo, we go more a little bit inside, the strength of the heart. And then with Virgo, we start moving downward. We start going for the fall signs. We start moving more downward. We start going into the nervous system, the reproductive system, energy that kind of motivates more closer to the fall season. So everything becomes more introverted during the fall, autumn months. Those organs start moving downward for that season. They become more focused on the internal. Like I said, Scorpio is reproductive, Virgo is the nervous system, Libra is the kidneys and the backside. So there are all these different energies that we start with Aries and we slowly start moving down. So with Leo, this is their month to watch the heart. It's a strong point with all these astrological signs and the body parts that are assigned. These are the strong points of those signs, but also we have to maintain and take care of it. So with Leo, I guess we have to be more mindful of being overly excited. We don't want to overtax the heart. We want to strengthen the heart. So Leos, because of their self-expression, tend to be more active. And they can sort of gauge when something isn't feeling right here in the heart. So they're more connected to that. So all the signs that have body parts attributed to them, those are the parts that are of strength, but can also be the Achilles tendon of that sign if it's not maintained. So watch the heart. Okay, protect the heart, but also make it strong. So let's go right into the sun. So I have 3 cards here from 3 different decks to showcase the different imagery. Now here, from the Vision Quest Tarot, the sun. And these are called prickly pear cactuses, I believe. They're one of the flowering cactuses, but they grow in bunches and they have lots of flowers, and the shape of them is actually pretty unique. Some of them have thick branches and they curve, and they can produce different flowers from one branch. It's very interesting. But here, look at the energy that we have here from the Vision Quest. We have the open arms, welcoming the sun, taking in that vitality. I mentioned this in a reading. This is, in a way, how I end my asana practice when I do yoga. I just embrace, open the arms, and just release everything that I did during my practice. So we see this energy, we see it radiating. So it's when we get a card like this, with this kind of depiction, we see the power and we see how it can be nurturing and healing and inspiring to us. And obviously the hummingbirds take notice of the nourishment that comes through these cactuses, and what goes around comes around with the birds. It's full cycle. They nourish, they feed, they take from the nectar, and they, that's how they get their vitality. So the sun is, outside of its resource of strength and energy, it's healing as well, and it can also be releasing. Here's another depiction. Okay, so this is from the Wildwood Tarot, and here I love the title. It's the Sun of Life. Remember what I was saying about the heart? Look at this, coming right out of the heart. It's like the sun is emblazed behind this individual, and it's just radiating right through the heart chakra and breaking it through. Look at the environment too. I'm going to move this card up here. Everything is flourished. Everything is growing. And as I mentioned, the moon comes before the sun card. So the moon is that inner journey that we go through, that inner exploration. What did we learn? What did we let go of? What are we more open to? And once we come to that point, we just express what we've experienced from inside. I feel with any work that you do with the energy of the moon, it is a time of release. So we can create space to have this explosion of energy, and let this vitality, this life force work through you the way that it needs to. So for people who are low on energy, I think August, I do have Leo in my chart. I like to find, I've seen August for me to be a little bit more on the creative side. I just find myself being more motivated, and also we're getting ready for fall. So we're going into our first harvest. So we have all this energy, we have all this excitement of summer slowly winding down. And we start looking towards the fall, and we start thinking of what we can do differently from what we did last year during this time of the year. Here's one other card from the Lumino Tarot. I think this is one of the most beautiful cards that I've seen depicted of the sun. I mean, we have literally the aura, and we see the lotus. And interesting, I mean, look at the hands. We can almost say this is a close-up of what we're seeing here. Even though the arms are wide open, we're seeing this embrace, we're seeing this welcoming. And we're seeing actually a form of respect and gratitude with this sun card. The sun is very powerful, so is the moon. So we need to acknowledge it and know what its strengths are and how it helps us, and also how it can also destroy and break down things in its own way. So these cards here are just different depictions of the energy of the sun. Spiritually embracing this, knowing the nurturing and the influence that it has through the creatures of Mother Nature. Spiritually, how it can shape-shift us in so many different ways and open up chakras and just feel really, really self-empowered. And then this one here is just beautiful. I do like mandalas, so when I first saw this card, I picked it up, looked at it, put it down, and then went back to it, because it's just like, this energy is just wonderful. It's just beautiful. Everything's opening, everything is moving. Okay, so the other cards that I want to show. Okay, so astrologically, we have Leo associated with the sun in the 5th house of creativity, playfulness, how we interact with our inner child, or release that inner child, that silliness that we sometimes can bring out as an adult, and that confidence, but it's just letting go and not paying mind to what anyone else thinks of. So the sun is the external. So these 3 cards that I have here, for the other archetype in relation to the sign of Leo. This is exclusively for the sign of Leo. We have the Strength card. So the Strength card, for me, when I do readings, is the internal energy of what's going on. Okay, this is how our energy has grown, has manifested. There's that inner strength in times where things are very challenging, and moving through it with confidence and in a steady manner. That's the fixity. Once you have that focus, for Leo, they stay on it. And so because of that self-belief, it's very important. Okay, so this is energy. We also see masculine and feminine energy in this deck. This can also be our primal energy that applies to male and female energies, what's going on inside. But in this case here, this is our sense of being self-empowered, feeling confident, moving through things in a very set fashion. Another card here. Okay, so this is from the Wildwood Tarot. And so look at this steadfastness. Okay, I wanted to show the different energy. Here we see the support of the individual holding on to the lion, and the lion giving the support back, giving that confidence. There's that trust. Here we have the fortitude, we have the moving forward, and we have the companion here. We have that lion cat-like energy right alongside of it. But I feel that this card's becoming more instinctual. And this card here, this energy of moving forward is following the instinct, listening to the heart, but this heart is strong. Okay, we see the strength in this individual holding the staff, moving forward, leaning in slightly, holding that cup, but also too, I feel like this is the feline aspect. It's like, this is where my instincts and the heart and everything's like, this is where I need to be. And this is where I'm going to keep going. So it's really important to do work and to create and strengthen your instinct. And people think, instincts, we all have it. We have different levels. We have different stages. And there are times that if we don't work and practice with that kind of energy, it can probably fail us in situations where it could have saved us. So if we don't work on our instincts and trust what's coming, what we feel inside of us, and we do an action otherwise from what we're hearing and feeling, it could become a disservice. So it's very important that what you feel in your heart and also instinctually, trust it, move forward. This is almost an extension of the Cancer energy, where everything's nurturing and everything is very more emotionally based. But here we're seeing these emotions being put into action, and knowing that this is the energy of where it is safe and where to go forward. Last card that I have here, Vision Quest. Look at this here. And we have a different position of the cougar, I could say. And I like the placement of the individual holding the staff. Remember what I was saying earlier? Letting go, let it free. This is fiery liberation. We have different forms of liberation of some of the signs, like Aquarius. It's liberation of thinking outside the box, seeing things differently. There's that uniqueness. And then Gemini, there's the letting go, but there is also the communication, speaking from the mind and connecting with people in that sense. But here, with this life force, we have we have our instinct moving forward and that vitality. But again, look at it. Look at the eyes. Very fixed, very direct, very set. Okay, look here. Very direct. The eyes on the prize. Here, I feel with this card, this is more of liberating. The heart's liberated, the soul's liberated. I feel it's a release more so in this card. And this life force of just putting out that energy, it's like, go out there, share it with people. Let's see how people feel about what you have to express with others. And here we have like the steam rising. It's everything's come to a culmination, everything's being released, but it's in a very promising setting. It's something, again, of strength, having faith in yourself, and moving from here, knowing that's going to be okay. So again, with Leo, moving from the heart is of the emotions, but it's also of strength and of confidence, and being maybe a little playful here. It's like, let's see what happens. Let's just throw it out there. So these are the cards here that we have associated with Leo: the Sun and the Strength card. Okay, the Sun is the planetary, the star, the energy force for Leo, and then the Strength cards, which go more into the spiritual characteristics of Leo. The Strength is more of what's going on inside that sign, and the Sun is the external with these cards that we have here. So I want, again, to wish a happy birthday to all those Leos, also your moon and rising sign Leos. Enjoy your birth month. And for those who don't have a sun, moon, or rising, but you do have Leo in your chart, this still applies. The only thing you need to look into is the planet that rules that sign. And that will change the characteristics a bit of how Leo interacts and how they work in situations. But look at the planet. Look at your chart, if you have a chart, and look at the house that Leo is in. If you have like Mercury in Leo, which we are currently in, or you have Venus in Leo and maybe your second house or eighth house, look at that. Understand the characteristics of Leo, but also understand the relationship of how that planet plays a role in that sign and in that house. And it does make a difference. So as I'm doing this recording, I hear some children playing next door. So this is actually very appropriate for winding this reading down. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I will be continuing this journey through all the signs until next year. I'll see where I'm going to go with this, because we only have 12 signs, 10 planets, 12 houses. So I'm going to see once I get to the end. And I started this in Scorpio. So actually, I think I'm going to finish up earlier. I'll see where I'm going to take this. Okay, if you have any ideas, any suggestions when it comes to tarot and astrology, feel free to let me know. I do readings. Take a look at my website. All that information's in the description. And after this video, the next video, we're going to go into our decans. So I'll be doing the readings for Leo 1, 2, and 3 for the month of Leo. And I will give a breakdown of each card. So for Leo 1 will be the 5 of Wands, Leo 2, the 6 of Wands, Leo 3, the 7 of Wands. And I will explore that in the recording so that you can sort of understand the relationship of the minor arcana with those decans. And then I will do a reading for I have to figure out which deck. I have some decks here that I'm going to work with. I'm looking for decks that have this fiery energy. So I'll read with those decks. It could be 2 or 3 decks, and just do a quick read for that decan. So for Leo 1, I always have to write down the dates. So this will be from July 22nd, 23rd to August 1st, 2nd. So each decan's about 10 days, 8 to 10 days, and they each have a different planetary placement, okay, to further confuse things. So our first decan for Leo is going to be held in the planet of Saturn. So for July 22nd to August 2nd, and this isn't set. This isn't how it is right now currently, but each decan will move a different planet. So Leo 1, it'll be Saturn in Leo. And our second one will be Jupiter in Leo. And then our last decan will be Mars in Leo. So we're going to deal with earth energy, and fiery energy again with Mars for the last decan. Okay, so stay tuned for that. I will have that decan reading posted over the weekend to bring in that first decan for Leo from the 22nd to August 1st, 2nd. All righty. So, and I'll be doing live readings. I just got to figure out a day. The Aries side of me is going to be very last minute. So I will do readings probably this weekend, maybe on Sunday. Okay. Thank you again for watching. Again, any questions, feel free to reach out. And again, have a wonderful month of Leo. All right, everyone. I will see you all again soon. Bye-bye.